I'm going to resume recording. Okay, let's see. I think we're live. Good morning, India. Oh. We are live here this morning with Nalini. Am I close? Tell me how to pronounce your name again, please.
Yep, very close.
That was close. Okay, here we are. I can see. All right. So I'm so excited. Hi, Megan, to have you here. We're breaking up a little. To have you here this morning. I have been admiring your work. Good morning, Noelia. Good morning, Sirium. I've been admiring your work on Instagram. That's where I scouted you out. And your work just caught my eye. I love the light language that you bring through in your art. I love the spirit animals and the goddesses and just all that you're bringing forward. I really like the sound of your voice. And just recently I found the transmissions. So on YouTube. So I've been listening to some of them, and then you brought the Arcturians in. I was like, oh yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. So I was super excited that we had this on the books, and I appreciate, I got up early, you staying up late, so we can make this work. It's 8:30 our time and a.m. and 8:30 p.m. your time. You're in Thailand, right?
7:30, so it's not too bad.
Okay. And 8:30 is not too bad normally, but I've been sleeping crazy. So my dreams have been like off the chain. I don't know about yours, but they've been wild. So there's been a lot of that going on lately. Hi, Darius. Good morning or good afternoon. He's in Germany. Please introduce yourself to the group and let us know a little bit about how you came into your spiritual journey. Would love to hear.
So hi, thank you for having me. I'm very new to this group. And my name is Nalini Diosara. I'm from Thailand. I was born in Thailand, but I grew up abroad. I spent about 20-something years moving around since young, and that's kind of threw me off the balance. But it was supposed to be that way. Now I'm looking back at it. I appreciate the journey that I've gone through so far. How I started, well, I kind of went through what many people call dark night of the soul, suicidal, eating disorders, anxiety for more than 10 years. And what I had as a lifeline was my art. I love to draw, I love to paint. I've never been into any proper fine art universities, though I was lucky enough to have met a few artists along the way and learn from them. So art was always my lifeline. And then I remember 6 years ago, I was painting portraits, and I had this knowing or this curiosity, what else am I meant to be painting except what I'm seeing physically? So I started to meditate, and then I started to meet people would just started to come and talk about spirit guides, angels, oracle cards, and that's when everything started. But it reached a peak when I discovered light language. And I was listening to few people on YouTube, on SoundCloud, very few people that I resonate with. I guess I have always been sensitive and selective at whose energy I'm tuning into.
Great.
So that started, and I picked up crystals and I started to connect with crystals, and that's when light language came in. So that was a point of combining my art with light language. And how I first started to channel and speak or sing was that I would have a piece of paper nearby and write down karaoke pronunciation, because it wasn't natural yet. But the more I work with it, the more, of course, working through my own doubts and insecurity and old belief that I couldn't sing.
I had
now, that. Yeah. I think it's just that awakening of different layers of what we are capable to do.
I have with art
So
also,
now,
and I do both. But I have it also with art, and I do both. I do sound healing and artwork, but I had to work through both. Like I'm terrible at both of these, and I can't do them. To like, oh, this is my job. So yeah, I think a lot of people really have to like let go of those stories of what they're not good at or can't do, or like what the system has told them. It has to be this one way, or it's not good or beautiful.
yeah, it's the comparison that we've been taught to have, that habit of comparing, or our drawing is not as good as others,
Yeah.
our voice is not as nice as others. So all of this programming kind of slowly peel away, and we becoming more comfortable with who we are. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I?
Sorry. Yeah,
No, 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 no. No, like you said, dreams are vivid, the vibe is high. I'm not able to read my emails at the moment. I was like, oh. So, okay, light language,
Yeah,
channeling, singing, yeah, and
you started had to get over that you know thinking you couldn't sing. That's where you're at when you're doing.
yeah. And what came to me now is this experience in the Amazon in 2017, that after a few ayahuasca journey, I was bathing in the middle of the jungle in the morning about 6:30, and I looked up at the sun, and I just had this yearning to sing to Elohim, to the sun, to the universe, to earth. And I started to sing, and that adds a purpose. And I felt that it's not just the act of communicating, but our voice has power in creating space, sound alchemy, transforming energy, influencing energy. So yeah.
That's so cool. Beautiful. And so from there, you started doing it as your work.
I was, before the Amazon, I was an art teacher in primary school, and I did light language artwork. I started my YouTube channel and my website as part-time. I felt that it needs something to be shared, some ways to be shared, and it was a part-time thing. And my full-time job got up to the point where I had to be honest, I wasn't motivated anymore. I was there for 6
When you were a
years.
school teacher?
Yeah, art teacher.
An art teacher?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, but it just got to the point where I had to be honest with myself. You know, this is not fun anymore. I'm not motivated. Needs to change direction. And also, me and my husband at the time, we were looking for a path of spiritual growth, deeper learning, and we were not finding that in Bangkok. So we resigned and we went into the Amazon, Peru for 3 months, Amazon for 2 months. We volunteered for 6 weeks, and then 2 weeks with plant medicines.
Wow.
And that kind of learning resonated with me, because I've never fit into any kind of institutions.
Yeah.
So learning from just experiencing and participating was my best way of learning deeper work, and also discover new layers about myself and others. So yeah, up until after Amazon, I've been doing this full time. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing to just be like, I'm not happy in my job and I'm gonna go spend some time in the Amazon. Like, okay.
I guess I've always been feeling like an outcast.
Yeah.
And I had this desire to run away from Bangkok, and I did. And I was under the mindset of being a nomad, but things happened, and then we decided to stay rooted in Bangkok. Now I feel more grounded. I feel like this is one of my homes. So yeah, it's meant to be.
Yeah. So you were married through all of this. You know, a lot of people, sometimes people have a divine partner and sometimes they don't, you know, in this stuff. And it's quite a journey. It sounds like you two were kind of seeking similar things.
Yeah, we met on Facebook, and we met after I started to meditate. Yeah. He's from South Africa. And,
wow.
and he's just like everything I had, because I don't have much in South Africa, so let me come and stay with you in Thailand.
That's awesome. Wow.
And yeah, we did look into twin flame dynamics, so soulmate, this and that. But at the time, there were a lot of distractions towards the idea, and we just feel like, nah, we are ourselves. Whatever we are ourselves.
I kind of tend to shy away from some of that stuff too. And like, I feel like, I don't know, people are always like, I'm looking for my twin flame. And I'm like, do you really want that? Like, I feel like that maybe you don't. You know, like what I've learned about it or seen about it, it can be kind of like not the person you end up with or want to end up with, right? It's really one of your soulmates that you want to be with.
Yeah, I feel that what was spreading around was a lot of old definition of what relationship,
Yeah.
according to the human expectation of what they want relationship to be. But now I'm feeling new definitions of, yes, divine union, twin flames coming in. And like you said, it's not going to always be sweet.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, people who come and mirror that.
Right.
So
Yeah, so I mean, we all need something different. You know, we've all made different agreements that, you know, we're honoring or that are going to make us fulfilled or help us along our path, you know, and these people are part of our path most of the time, right? I noticed a couple of cool things about what you do. So many different interesting things. I mean, one of the things that I noticed is that you do a lot of cacao ceremonies, sacred cacao ceremonies. So I would love to hear a little bit about that and you know, what that process is like and how you're facilitating those right now.
So I didn't drink cacao when I was in Amazon. I was merging with other spirits and other plant medicines, but she did come into my attention, and then she came again last year, so that's when I started to seek for her and obtain ceremony grade cacao from Peru. And as soon as I drank her, yeah, I cried. I had this whole emotional release, and then I saw myself offering this to my friends in Bangkok. And it was in sync with my question to the universe: what am I supposed to be doing here in Bangkok? So I started, and I learned. How I hold space is very similar to what I've learned in the Amazon. Of course, cacao is not as intense as ayahuasca. Cacao is a very creative, very free medicine. You can hold cacao in a setting of yoga. I have sister here who holds aesthetic dance with cacao. So it really depends to the objective and intention of what you want your ceremony to be like. For me, I feel that cacao is such a great tool, especially for people in urban city like Bangkok energy metrics, when everything's just in the head, shoot and A to B, rush here, rushing there, get this done. But cacao is the medicine of the heart, and with the goodness that cacao offer, it brings us to the state of balance between relaxation and clarity. So within the process of relaxation, we can go in deeper, and within that state of clarity, we can then allow ourselves to observe what's going on within, not through fear, not through resistance, but through love and gratitude. And that is the spirit of cacao. And I'm still learning. It's a long relationship that I'm building with her. I'm still learning to find my balance dose without trigger the heat within my body. I'm still learning how to work with her more, how to even create a more powerful space. At the moment, cacao ceremony is online, and we gather in group once or twice a month. And I also offer private, and it's focused on shamanic journey, when we guide everyone to journey inwards into their own heart. And anything that comes up, they then can acknowledge, unlock the lesson and release, and observe what is there that they can nurture. So what usually shared within Cacao Circle that I hold is that after the meditation, we then allow everyone to take turn to ask questions or make a statement or share their experience, because we learn from one another. And interestingly, most of them connects. This person will be mentioning about releasing ancestral trauma. This person will be mentioning about the rise of the feminine principle, the balance of the masculine principle, and it's all connected. So it shows that we experience and walk upon this path of transformation in our own individual way, but at the same time, we're doing it for the collective as well.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's so true.
Yeah.
Such a great way to put it. Now, what about, I feel like a lot of people are like, what do you mean cacao? Like, do you drink hot chocolate and it makes you, you know, trip out? Like, what you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but I would love to hear you sort of explain a little deeper for people who aren't familiar with the medicine, what makes it different than you're just, you know, drinking some hot chocolate and doing a meditation.
Okay, so the hot chocolate or cocoa powder that we get from the supermarket is on the shelf that is labeled processed cacao, or processed cocoa powder or alkalized cocoa powder. There has been information around chocolate, how it's quite acidic, which I do feel that it tends to be on a heaty side than alkaline side. But the reason that they used to promote processed cacao into processed cocoa powder is that it's alkalized and it's safe for people to drink. Fine, fair enough. But the magnesium is almost gone, iron's almost gone, theobromine, one of the most powerful chemical in cacao that gives clarity, it's not going to be there because it's been processed. While you can find ceremonial grade cacao, which is cacao that has been planted, harvested, fermented, sometimes roasted and distributed for ceremonial and medicinal use only. And fair trade supporting the tribe. The cacao, ceremonial grade cacao are used supporting Ashaninka tribe, which a tribe in Peru that they were part of slavery up to 2011, which is quite recent. So supporting these people to plant cacao, giving them income and role in modern society. Within this moment of quarantine and people joining Cacao Circle online, I welcome anyone with or without cacao. If you just want to come and sit, if you can't get ceremonial grade, you can try raw. And my friend have said that there's a slight difference. You try ceremonial grade first and then you try raw, meditating with it. There's a slight difference. With ceremonial grade cacao, you feel it straight away. You feel that spirit coming through your chest. You feel this high. And yeah, you feel this relaxation. But she's not psychedelic. She's not like ayahuasca when ayahuasca brew, which kruna or any other plant activates that release of DMT within your body. Cacao doesn't do that. So this is why cacao is very safe, because if some people are not ready to dive deep into their traumatic self, that side of themselves, cacao is like, here's what you're feeling. I can guide you deeper if you wish. If not, you can sit where you are and you can be where you're at. So that's kind of a spirit of cacao. Yeah.
I've never had ceremonial grade, but I've had raw quite a bit, and I definitely feel the vibration shift of it. And I know you can mix cacao with other plant medicine too, like cannabis, and that can also create its own other dynamic. So yeah, it's very interesting. So that's really cool. And I think that's really helpful for people to understand, because I think it's talked about a lot and people don't really understand like why is it special, or why is it different, or why is it spiritual? So thank you for bringing that up, or bring that in. And the other thing I wanted to, Megan just said, oh my God, I just saw the cat art piece on her Instagram. She loves it. I don't know which one she's talking about, but I love all your art pieces. I love the animals. So amazing. Good morning, Sam. And that does lead me to what I wanted to talk about next, which is I believe you have oracle cards. Is that correct, that you've designed?
Yep.
That is amazing.
Ooh, okay.
Here they come.
So yeah, I was inspired by another sister. Her name is Alessandra. can't say her last name, but Google her, you'll find her. She's one of those.
Oh wait, I know who it is. I interviewed her.
She's Shadow Galactic being.
Yeah.
Oh.
I interviewed her. She's amazing. Yeah, no, she's amazing. I'm obsessed with her too. She was. I actually was getting you two mixed up because hers is like remembering. Yours is remembering, and hers is like living, or vice versa. Like your handles on Instagram, and I kept being like, "Are you the next interview? Are you?" Because you both do like light language with beings, but hers are galactics. And her media is different because I think she does them on an iPad Pro, so it's more like a art that's like a tech.
Maybe it's a different one. Maybe it's a different person. I don't know because I'm not sure if Alessandra. Oh, well, anyway. So yeah, I was just inspired by the sister Alessandra who had Galactic Arcturian Oracle card out, and that was like 5 years ago. Okay. And I was painting quite a lot at the time as well, and I was working full time. But then it's just that inspiration to put it into some kind of form.
Yeah.
And I remember taking the sample deck into the Amazon, and in the Amazon, when I have time, I would write down whatever comes through for each card. And yeah, it came out about two years ago.
So what do they call it?
Torch of Ascension. Torch of Ascension.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sometimes you put a spread out on Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, I want those. They're so cool.
Thank you. I didn't go through any publisher. This is completely DIY. It's produced on demand, guidebook sent by in digital form. Wow. I'm hoping to make another one, but this deck is designed for self-empowerment.
Awesome.
Compassion in action, love, and unity. Unity is an interesting thing. I've learned a lot from the word unity and oneness, that we are learning to respect our differences at the same time, knowing that we are one. And we are learning to see similarity in differences. We are learning to respect that. Yeah. So that's the path.
Would you pull a card for us, for the group?
Okay, sure. Yeah, the group energy.
Yes.
Love and higher selves of everyone. If everyone can just take a deep breath. And exhale. Intention of love, guidance, clarity, and gratitude. Winged Wolf, this was painted by my husband, and it talks about rising above all worries, rise above all concerns, rise above all bewilderment. That's the exact word.
Wow.
Meaning, yes, we are facing all the layers that no longer serve. It rises in clarity because there's less distraction now. But know that the wings are behind your back. And in order to spread those wings, let go of what weighs you down. Let go of what doesn't represent who you are. Because we are moving forward and becoming anchors of evolving energy, evolving consciousness. And there would be parts of ourselves that continue to come up through memory, through reaction, through triggers that we are learning to make peace with. Arcturian. Oh no, sorry, this is Orion. Orion being. And Orion being signifies the connection with the divine masculine principle, hence Orius. The story of Isis collecting parts of Osiris back and give life to him temporarily to give birth to new consciousness, I see as a symbol of us. Welcome back our divine masculine principle, meaning the active force, meaning the extreme externalization that we have long been used to now is returning. How we place our self-worth, love on the external world, we're learning to return that back into the divine temple, into our heart.
I love it.
So
perfect.
One more, let's do 3.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, I've been working with energy and with Isis quite a bit lately, so I love that you're bringing those in. So cool.
Aww. Blue, Syrian Arcturian hybrid. And he reminds us that everywhere is home. We are always home. Each breath is home. Our body is home. Earth is home. Star is also home.
I love
Family.
it so much. Those are awesome. Thank you so much. I really love that. That was making me kind of emotional, actually. But I'm pretty emotional lately. It's all good.
Becoming more receptive.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So can we purchase those oracle cards from your website?
Yeah. It's print on demand and shipping at the moment because of the current situation is a bit slower, but they do ship still.
Very cool. I feel like I want those. I really like them a lot. I think they're really cool. And what's your process with when you do one-on-one sessions with people? Because I know you do, so you do the artwork and you sell those pieces, right? Like here is I don't know, like a Lyran lion or something. I'm just throwing that out there. Here is, and you're doing your transmissions on YouTube where you're sharing music and voice and light language and healing, and you have the oracle cards, you have ceremonies, but you're also doing one-on-one sessions, right? So what is that like? What is a one-on-one session like, and how did that come about for you?
It breaks down into different kind of types. First is what I call soul reading, which is like an introduction for me, tuning into your energy, and we deliver whatever message comes through your energy at that moment of time, anything that is relevant with that current process. And then we go into the soul records, the Akash, to link whatever it is that links between the multi-facets of the soul. How is it relevant to this current process of now? So that's within soul reading. And then there's another one, which is deep journey within, a longer session, which we navigate through different energy centers. We don't temper with all chakra. That's not necessarily anything, any chakra that calls out, we tune in, we deliver healing in form of sound, like language, and of course, messages of guidance. And we jumped into etheric bodies, the mental and the emotional, to see the relationship and perhaps any belief system that governs them, of what needs to be rearranged and what needs to be nurtured. And then we go into the astral, go into the soul, go into the Akash, again, linking anything that is relevant of the soul theme and the current theme in human life. And this one is custom light code, which is closed temporarily because it's full. I'll reopen again next month, possibly. With the light codes, I tune into the client's energy and I come up with a simple set of code, and it's delivered along with 30 minutes sound transmission and messages of how they can integrate the energy that came through. And of course, there's private cacao ceremony as well. So,
Wow. Yeah. Sounds amazing. What about commission?
It's fun.
Yeah, right? I love doing the work. I mean, there's nothing like it. It's just so special because we're receiving when we're working, we're receiving when we're passing through, and when we're giving that love or that nurturing, as you said, or that work is also coming to us. So it's almost like, wow, we're very lucky. It's like almost unfair. It's not, but it's just cool to be able to actually receive as you give. There's such a beautiful balance to doing this energy work for people. I love it. So what about commissioned portraits or commissioned pieces? Do you do that where like you make one beautiful piece of artwork with light language for a person and they buy it?
I used to, and then I had to close that down because it was draining my energy, and I got to the point where I don't enjoy it. And when I don't enjoy it, I need to be honest with myself because it shows in the quality of artwork. That's why I shift to the simple light code. But in the future, I might put it back up again.
Yeah, who knows, right? But people can buy the ones that you're making sort of for yourself from your own space, and then if it resonates with them, they'll still get everything that comes through, right? What kind of different beings come through for you when you're doing these pictures, these pieces of art?
It's really depends to, Yeah, my personal painting will be connected to the personal journey that I'm going through at the moment. For example, the recent painting with medicine person merging into a jaguar, offering a couple medicine, has to do with me stepping into this plant medicine service, acting as simply an extended branch of our ancestors' ways of connecting, of healing each other. The Liren do come up a lot. Feline seems to be my dominant theme that I often ask myself, am I sick of painting felines yet? No, I'm not.
You must have a lot of DNA, right? Do you think that's part of it?
What?
Do you think you have a lot of Lyran DNA? Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah. It links to the current theme of transformation that I'm going through. If you would like, this deck is very good, Galactic Heritage cards, and it shares different lessons, different theme of evolution that different star rays had to go through and how it connects with current human process. So from this deck, I learned that within Lyran, they learn to balance masculine principle. They learn to transform the sense of arrogance into humbleness, and there's many more.
Wow.
And it's on point with what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going through that collectively too. You know, like I think there's this divine masculine, divine feminine's been rising. You know, there's been a lot of that. That's been like very accepted, and celebrated in a lot of ways and needed. But with divine masculine, I think there's this whole process, right, of like anger towards masculine, right, that has come up for in the spiritual world and other, like, you know, like I'm one of those people who was always like, smash the patriarch, like down, like ah! You know, like that was me for a long time, like a very long time. And it's still, I mean, my profile picture is like Trinity, like from the Matrix, like fighting one of the agents, you know, like, hashtag mood, you know, like, and I feel like, you know, that's a very valid and okay and beautiful part of, you know, the energy that comes up. But there's also like the opportunity that divine masculine needs to also rise. And also I feel like we think like, oh, they can't rise because they're already up here, like they have control, or they have, and it's like it's hard for people to wrap their brains around that, like their rising is their humility, their rising is their shift into compassion, into their hearts, being allowed to feel, being allowed to be real, you know, experience emotion. And it's not easy, you know. I feel like I've really come into a space of more compassion and forgiveness for masculine, not, you know, not that my picture shows it, but I feel like, you know, feeling like, wow, they have a lot of expectations. They've been trained in this way. And it's really hard for them to let go of. And they don't have, like, we have sisters. Like, we have, like, we can sit, like, you and I just met, but we can sit and talk about, like, for the 15 minutes, like, things that I don't think two dudes would get on and just, like, talk about, you know, and because women have that opportunity, you know, and it's accepted and it's part of our culture. And men don't. Like, if you're not talking about like someone's ass getting kicked or, you know, sports, like it's not super accepted, at least not in the US. And you know, there's a lot of complexity that they're dealing with if they're interested in trying to rise, and a lot of isolation there that they have to experience, in my opinion.
I feel that, let me grab a book. I feel that what we are discovering, what you speak of, is the masculine that manifests in the structure, in physical gender. This book have helped me since day one, the Kybalion, seven Hermetic principle. I don't dwell too deep in esoteric because it's just a bit of a headache and head spin, but within one of this principle, it speaks of gender, and gender manifests in all planes. And I feel that what you talked about, how if men can come into terms of being emotional, of being compassionate, of being gentle, of being flexible. You're on point there, because those who embody masculine physical gender are learning to be okay with the feminine within. And as we are learning to discover that balance of masculine principle within us as well, we're learning to, okay, respect our boundary, discovering our strength, discover our powers. On the flip side, most of the people who embody masculine physical gender, who are born in a rigid patriarchal society, they find it hard to accept that they too are emotional beings. They too are highly receptive. They too have that feminine side within them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's about the balance of both.
It's like they're ostracized for it or shamed for it. You know, there's so much conditioning that's just programmed in so early and so firmly, you know, with, you know, boys don't cry and just so much of that. And we've started to talk about it a little bit, but we haven't really forgiven it. And I think that's where we're at. Like, it's time. It's time to it's time to forgive and have compassion and be able to really like start to understand one another's I want to say crosses to bear, or like things that we've come in to learn in this incarnation about gender and about not just gender, but like, because we both have divine masculine and feminine within us, and it does, you know, it does come out within every individual, you know, but it's just more, you know, it's just what the expectations of us are and how that plays out. And
yeah, and it's all about,
no, please.
It's all about realizing too that we are mirrors. What we see, what triggers us, also what's within us. And well, everyone and everything are on their path, at their services, on different frequency, on different level. And I guess that's my lesson of peeling off the arrogance and sense of righteousness as well. Yeah. One of the lessons that I've learned in Amazon is that everyone, including everything, the most yuckiest looking insects to the most beautiful bird that you can find, they are at their service somehow.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. So tell me more about these different, I know you've worked with cacao, you've worked with ayahuasca, and there's many other plant and animal medicines, because I think of the toad medicines, right, and frog medicines, they're not really plant medicines, but I feel like they get put in the category, right?
Yeah, in the community.
Yeah, they get put in the group. What other ones have you explored, and what have they done for your journey, and how, you know, what are your thoughts on those?
Well, let me share what I'm working with at this moment. I'm working with cacao and tobacco snuff.
Okay.
Brazilian pronunciation is rape, but I feel the Peruvian pronunciation is hape. And different tribes has different blend, but the common ingredient is tobacco. And traditionally, for example, Matse tribe in Peru, they use it for hunting. They will blow it up their nostril up to 20 times until they get a bit drunk, and then they go out for hunting. And sometimes, blow up.
Okay.
I got the tools. I can show you. Just a minute.
I'm very curious. I'm interested. I just like to know about all the things.
Sorry, I just want to show you. So this is called a tepi, where.
Okay.
This is called a tepi when you blow it to others, when you apply hape onto others, and it's fine powder like so.
Okay.
And this is kuripe. This is self-applicator.
Okay.
Like so. And yeah, traditionally used for hunting, and sometimes you can hallucinate on it when you do it up to 20 times, I've read. And you get visions of where the animal would be. And they will set a trap on the next day, and the next day they wait for the animals to come. So there's a deeper working with the medicine. But in this new age plant medicine community, hape or rape is using more to induce purging. If you mix with the frog medicine, This is the frog medicine.
Okay.
Sapo is the dialect of Maasai tribe, but is well known as Kambo.
Yeah. Okay, I've heard of
So
combo. So, but it's also
yeah,
called
so
combo.
in
Okay.
yeah, so in Kambo sessions, sometimes you will be offered hape to increase the process of purging negative energy, old accumulated energy, and it's very good for lymphatic systems, very good for focus, concentration, and grounding. So that's hape. And I'm also working with Sananga eye drop once a week only. And you put in your eyes is an eye drop made from Sananga root and sometimes mix of bark. And it burns. It's like putting Kambo in your eye. But the burn only lasts for about a minute or two. And what it does is that it clears the bacteria in the eyes, it clears everything in the eyes. But not only that, it allows you to see and feel what you are in process of releasing. To me, it enables me to unlock all belief system and allow all perception to be let go more at ease. And when I apply Sananga on others, I can feel and see exactly what they are releasing. It's like
Wow.
the old accumulated energy just being unlocked with the power of Sananga.
Wow.
And the other one is blue lily. You might like it. Nymphia cerurea. Blue lily is a cousin to blue lotus from the ancient Egypt. And you can get it in flower and dry flower and soak it in hot water for 15 to 20 minutes. And you drink it before bed for lucid dreaming, for dream work. And sometimes you do have emotion release through dream as well.
Wow.
And
Never even
she's
heard of
great
that.
for relaxation. I'll
Yeah.
type this in the chat box so you go check it out.
Yeah.
And she's great for cramps, for pain, because she's great in relaxation.
Okay.
And yeah, I've done Kambo 3 times, and I will do it again in the jungle. um, I have never done the toad. I've never done bufo. I've never done mushroom. I've never done San Pedro or
Okay.
Shuma. I've never met
Those are
him.
some
I
of the
will
more
one day.
common, right? The San Pedro is pretty common. I mean, I've heard a lot of people have done that.
Yeah.
And of course, psilocybin, like, gosh, almost everybody I know has done some psilocybin at some point in their life.
I'm still mushroom virgin. I tell everyone I'm a virgin. Like I still haven't done mushroom. And there's some good ones in Thailand. There's some great ones in Thailand. I've just never get to
So
it. I
interesting.
will.
Yeah. I think it's important to be in like a sacred space. Well, of course, right? That's not profound, but important to be in a sacred space. I think a lot of people, they partied with mushrooms back in the day, back in college, or, like growing up and wanting something fun to do. And not that that's bad or anything, but just that it's different. And I think that then you can have sort of like a more of a bad trip because you're not really having that awareness or respect, and you're not open in that way. So I mean, I feel like that was kind of my experience more like back in college, or wanting to explore but just not understanding, um, and now they're talking about microdosing with psilocybin as a antidepressant, as a way to help ADHD, right? I mean, like, so interesting. And it's so controversial, but then if you look at some of our pharmaceutical medicines and where they come from, I mean, it's not really this is just a mushroom. It's not that different, it's just, again, that conditioning of what's acceptable and what's not by like those who have the control and want to control what we're doing, and how much we're able to access within ourselves and within the multiverse, right? And within multidimensional realities. So, okay, well, you can feel better with this plant if we process it this way, because then we know we can keep you cut off, versus like, this one's not okay because it's going to open you all the way up, and we don't want you to have that, be awake like that, and I think it's interesting to look at those dynamics and how we see things as good and bad, or okay, not okay, you know, based on the legalities of a control system that's really set up to keep us asleep to our own divinity, you know. So it's just my little soapbox there. And
no, good.
yeah. I just want people to like think about, and I'm not just sitting here saying like I'm gonna, you know, go trip on mushrooms every day. I just feel like there's a you know, we're so heavily influenced in our opinions about what we do, what we put in our bodies, what we will, you know, shoot into our bodies, what we will, all kinds of things, right? By so and so says this is what you have to do and this is what's good for you. And it's really, if you really dive deep into that, and I think it's relevant to what we're dealing with right now in the world. And without me saying, you know, a bunch of things that are gonna like make everyone crazy right now, but I think there's a relevance of people needing to find the sovereignty of like what is healthy, and what will keep you well and what will make you sick. And I think that's really important for people to learn for themselves, and really try to be brave enough to think outside of the control system, and know that you know what is best for you and not someone who's trying to control you.
Yeah, what you said remind me of Graham Hancock. He said the same thing. He wrote, he's a writer, and he's drank ayahuasca, God knows how many times, but he said the same thing. It's the freedom of choice. It's our right to explore consciousness.
Yeah. It is. And I feel like there's just so much. The more I learn, the more I've researched, the more different things I've looked at, and the more personal experience I've had, even with Western allopathic medicine. And not to say that, you know, if I needed a doctor, I don't want to, I mean, I'm gonna use that service. And if there's something that's required, you know, if I'm bleeding and I need stitches, like I'm gonna get them, you know. But there's just so much that has been put there to shut us down. And I've tried a lot of those medicines that the doctors have said, like, this is going to make you well or healthy, and it didn't. You know, they made me, you know, sicker in my own consciousness in so many ways. And, you know, now just being free of, I mean, I'm mostly someone who just takes my supplements and drinks a lot of high vibe water, and, you know, like eats according to what my body says it wants. And, you know, I keep it pretty simple right now. I'm a busy mom. So I don't have a lot of time in the Amazon these days. That's my path at the time, you know, but I just have a deep respect for those who have gone through the path of exploration outside of the box, you know, and I think it's very brave and noble and important.
Well, I have deep respect for mother and fathers. It's not an easy thing.
No, it's not. That's its own journey.
Parenting is not easy.
Never a dull moment around here. I was thinking earlier before we got on, I was like, and then I'm trying to channel Metatron, and you hear like everyone screaming outside and crying, and like the toys going off and making all these crazy noises. And I've learned to, it's all part of it. I've learned to just let it flow through, whatever comes through. Like, that's what we're doing right now, and that's part of the learning, and that's part of the healing. You know, it's important. So just letting go and allowing, you know, I think that's when we talk about plant medicine, how important is it to let go and allow, you know, so that you don't, the more you resist things, the harder they are, persist. You know, because we push against with that same energy, and it just, you know, and that's not helpful. Do you have any of your art that you can show us right now? Like with you?
Yes, I need to get off my chair again.
Okay, because we're gonna wrap up soon. We're gonna tell everybody where you can find us, and or where you can find you. They know where to find me. but I would love for you to show a couple. I love your beautiful pieces so much. So.
This is the most recent one, the one I was talking about. Ugh, not good lighting.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm in the process of integrating with parallel self, and there's this Amazonian girl who sometimes comes to me. Well, sometimes comes to me in the form of a grandmother, and this is kind of my portal of connecting with that energy, offering plant medicine, but not only that, inner medicine as well. And here, not only light language, but I wrote few Icaros in Spanish and in Quechua, lowland Quero language that I've learned and I'm still learning. And I feel that I'm just acting as a branch, an extended branch of this tradition.
I'm really attracted to the blue, so that's cool that you brought that out. I love that part.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the whole thing, but it's so powerful.
That's cacao and it's ayahuasca.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So that's something that people can purchase from you, right? Or is it a print of it that they would receive? Or
at the moment, it's print because I it's like giving birth when you finish a painting. I want to hold on to the baby for a while and then radio sell it.
Oh Lord. What an analogy. It's funny. I had a
it is
the other night. It was pretty freaky. I was not a fan of it. Crazy that you brought that up. Yeah, but you know, that's out there. That's underneath our consciousness too, right? Trafficking. So it's in there. It pops, things pop up. Yes, you don't, does it take you several months? How long does it take you to do something like that?
It takes me longer now. I feel that it's because I'm doing full-time work with this, and I'm aware that it probably takes more energy than what I'm logically aware of. And sometimes that painting took me, I started in November last year and I just finished it last month.
Okay.
That's long. That's so long.
Yeah.
But before I used to paint a lot quicker, but now it just takes longer to integrate the energy and go through the lessons. It's the whole journey into
7 months, almost a whole gestational period, almost a whole pregnancy. Close.
Yeah. My baby.
Very close. Just a little premature, but 4 months in there anyway. Oh, that's so great. So before we wrap up, first of all, if you have any words for us, anything you want to share before we depart, and then also telling us where we can find you and how people can book with you and get what they want to receive.
Okay, so I'll do the latter first, and I'll offer a bit of light language song to close this. That would be nice. Yeah. So how to find me: Facebook, Nalini Diosara, Facebook page, Remembering Love and Light Language, Instagram, the same name, but my website is soulconnectionsnalini.com. And I don't know how we can make this work, but to the listeners of this group, if you wish to book soul reading with me, I can offer you a discount from 48 USD to 40 USD.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know how we can make this work.
They can tell you they're from Multidimensional Living.
Okay, cool.
Right? Or they can use the code if you have that in your bookings, or they can just tell you. Code. Yeah, they can just tell you.
Let me know.
That's fine. Yeah, thank you so much. That's very generous.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much it. And YouTube channel, Remembering Love and Light Language, that's where I offer free guided meditation, free light language transmission, and so on. So I would like to invite everyone back into their breath. Inhale, exhale, relax your shoulders and spine. Inhale deeper, and as you do, allow the belly to expand. Inhale into the core. Exhale, contract gently. Feel where you are and feel each breath. Tune into the heart and use imagination to see the light of our hearts connected as with light. Let love and gratitude and forgiveness be flow of stream like river, guiding us in movement and fluidity, no holding on to what no longer serves, the lightness of the heart. Iaranya sono korama tia no ko nani atu sa Let us send love and this state of peacefulness down into our root, down into the land where we are, with gratitude to our ancestors, into earth, into heart of Gaia. Siani Tatu. And return into our heart, into our breath. Thank you.
Thank you. I really needed that. Thank you so much. It was so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could feel it waving throughout my body, especially in my stomach and solar plexus. So felt really good. Thank you so much. I also felt the clearing. You did a little clearing in the beginning, and that felt really amazing. So, at least to me, and it sounded a little familiar.
This is Chakapa.
Oh, what is it made from?
Chakapa is called from Chakapa leaves, cousin to bamboo. This is from Amazon, and it used in ceremony to cleanse, to purify, removing heaviness and transcendence. So it's very much like smudging without smoking.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have some black walnut shells. I think they're supposed to do the same thing that one of my students gave me.
Oh.
I love them. They're downstairs, but I should bring them up. Maybe I should use them today. The sign. Something in my navel cleared, Megan said. Yeah, I felt it there too. See? Something in there. Awesome. I love when we feel the same things, right? It's like, oh yeah. So that's great. Thank you so much. So beautiful to be with you during this time. And I thank you so much for your service and for your being.
Thank you.
Take care. Goodbye, MDL. Have a great day today, everyone.